calls in, but first, like I say, heavy heart for two reasons. One, it's dawned on me, we put it to a vote what the name of the show should be. We had a number of worthy candidates, but I'll tell you, Daves of Thunder now, 3-4 weeks in, I'm not a big fan of it anymore.
It
was fine, but now I'm over.
I don't think it was ever fine. That's what happens when you put things to a vote in this country.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a.
What are we going to do about it? Isn't it kind of set in stone
You
now?
just said it's our show. I really think that maybe Dave Damashek Vanity Project starring Feeney is a good idea.
The Dave Damashek Vanity Project starring David Feeney.
I just like it. Listen, as I said before, I'll say it again now. A lot of people, most celebrity types they achieve a certain station, a certain position in life where they are then allowed to do vanity projects. I'm just going to cut that middle portion out of having success and just jump right to the vanity project. Isn't that a good idea? Shouldn't we do it that way?
But I like that it's starring David Feeney. It's still my show, but for some reason the show is named after you.
All right, so we have to. So
I'm the star.
This may be the last Daves of Thunder then, but we'll keep it on iTunes. So if you've already subscribed, but we'll figure that out. But the real reason.
Shouldn't this be a farewell show then? Shouldn't we have people, fans from throughout the years, guests and everything, come on?
If you want to make it that, we can. But listen, again.
Shouldn't Bette Midler be singing me a song or something? I love it.
Oh yeah, that would be nice if you can.
I worked with her. I know her.
Sure. Now, the other thing
Horrible
to be
woman.
sad about is of course that we lost. We just heard the theme song set to the Greatest American Hero music, and we lost one of the stars of the Greatest American Hero, Bob Culp, this week.
The great Robert Culp, the great
thoughts?
Bill Maxwell.
Right.
One of the
I
best.
Spy.
Of course, but you know what? He did I Spy. He did other things. He was a bad guy for a while in the 60s and 70s, and plus he came in later on Everett Raymond. But he's always going to be an FBI
for our
agent.
generation, right?
I think for generations to come, Bill Maxwell, FBI, one of the great supporting characters, not just of the 80s, of all time, I think, in TV.
Yeah.
Especially hour-long dramas. He was
snarky. Yeah, that was a funny show. I mean, funny in the sense that it wasn't a drama nor a comedy. It was something in between.
In the industry, we call it a dramedy.
A dramedy, yes. It was starring also the formerly foxy Connie Selica. Right?
I still think foxy. I saw her at Ralph's maybe last year. She looked great.
She's with John Tesh, though.
So
Doesn't
what?
That
She
make
can't
her less
fall in love
appealing?
like everybody else?
No, it's kind of like, Sheridan, Nicole Sheridan's not foxy. Nicolette Sheridan. She's not foxy really anymore, but isn't it repellent when you heard that she was with Michael Bolton? Well, if that's her decision-making, then I want nothing to do with it.
This is your problem, and I heard this about you when people warn me about doing this show. Once a woman hits 40, you think they should just go into hiding.
No,
you don't want to see wrinkles. You don't want to see crow's feet.
I don't like...
40, you're as good as dead.
I don't care how foxy a woman is. If one of my friends has been with her, then that's it. I would never be with her. I could never do that. But I know a lot of people who where a woman was with one friend and then another friend still sees fit to be with her. I could never do such a thing.
I work with a guy, I'm not going to say his name. He's a famous actor, but I'm not going to say his name, who I found out had once been with Andy McDowell, and I couldn't stand this guy. Ruined Groundhog Day forever. I went home, cracked the CD and DVD in half.
Oh, yeah. So Bob Culp has left us. And first of all, everything gets remade now in show business. Why not Greatest American Hero? I think
they're just doing A-Team. It's Cannell. That's Stephen J. Cannell. He just did A-Team, or they're remaking it. I think it's coming out this summer. I think that'll be down the
All right, so we'll look forward to that. But it also
another
gets me
summer
to
or two.
The whole premise.
Hold on, what about this? Greatest American Hero starring Dave Damashek.
Ooh. You know what?
In the William Catt role.
Fill in for Bill Catt, who's moved on to adult film work, right? Isn't that what he does?
I have no idea.
I think that's what he does. I think he legitimately does.
Can you say that live and on video?
I don't think he does. I don't think he does hardcore wang for the world to see.
He does softcore stuff, like Hotel Erotica Cowboy?
I could be wrong. Someone check on that. I'm pretty sure that's not John.
IMDb right now. Bill Catt's credits.
I think he
did
does
Carrie, don't forget.
But also, I do. Of course, I know that now. But since then, not probably the high water.
What was his name on Greatest American? Ralph Hinckley? Is that his name on Greatest American Hero?
I don't remember.
He was a teacher, right? He was a teacher by day.
If you're a youngster and you're not familiar with the Greatest American Hero, he finds some sort of a box. The spaceship crashes and he finds it, and somehow he gets the suit and it gives him powers. But he's terrible. He has the manual. They
forgot the rule book. The rule book went away.
The user manual has no thing, so he can put the suit on and fly, and he has powers, but he's terrible. He's the most inept superhero. So, of course, this leads me into one of my favorite subjects, worst superheroes.
Can I say something first about the rule book? I tried to put the Wii system in the house maybe 2 months ago, and I didn't have the book. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. So operating a thing like that without the rule book,
Why would
I think
you
it'd
be
be
able
terrible.
to? What kind of hubris does it take to think like I can figure out how to play every game on the
No,
this
not every game.
machine.
Hooking up the goddamn thing. I couldn't do it.
What do you want? So what am I? What's
What
my
I'm saying is that
supposed to
what
be
I'm
to
saying
that?
is the show is based in reality. Without that rule book, you can't do anything.
Isn't that true
Imagine
of
with a
anything?
superhero.
What does that even mean? Of course, yes.
No,
you
my
need the-
my bedside alarm clock. I didn't have a manual for that either. It took no time at all. You plug it in, you do a couple numbers, bang.
All right, you're wonderful. Now listen, here's who isn't wonderful. I was thinking about right out of the gate. Let's start at the top of the superhero food
Superhero
chain.
list, yeah.
Superman. Now, Superman isn't a bad superhero per se. Obviously, that's my point. Is if you root for him. If you're that's one of those things. It's a pretty telling thing when you ask somebody your favorite superhero. If they say Superman, I don't like you. You know, yeah, right out of the gate because it makes you a front runner. It makes you. It's the same guy who likes Superman likes the New York Yankees. You see, you're a front runner. Superman. He's made out of steel. He's faster than a speeding bullet. He shoots lasers out of his eyes. Of course he should win. Who's his arch nemesis? A bald-headed middle-aged guy who's smart, Lex Luthor.
Who's smart?
That's
the greatest
what he does.
criminal mind of our age?
What?
He's
Listen,
a genius.
but so what? He has no powers. He has no. He's a smart old guy. He's a smart bald-headed man, and whose only recourse is to try and seek out the only kryptonite that remains on our universe.
We're on the same
That's his only
page as
chance.
that. We're on the same
He
page.
can't lose. He can't lose, and yet we're in awe every time Superman wins. Of course he should win.
Superman, though, easily defeatable. Just some kryptonite, just a little bit of
A
kryptonite.
little bit.
He's done.
Good luck finding that kryptonite.
Oh,
That's
no,
the
it's an
problem.
Addis Ababa somewhere. I saw
So
the
that's
movie.
a lot. Do you have any bad superheroes?
Oh my God! First and foremost, I think it would be Apache Chief.
Apache Chief, yeah.
is one of the worst all time. He neck chuck and he becomes what, 20 feet tall?
Well, I'm
Which
not
means
sure
now
how.
he can
is that what it
dunk.
was?
Is that what it was? I mean, he can now see into the fourth floor window of a
I don't
skyscraper.
like. Yeah, that's interesting.
What did he really do?
Apache Chief, unlike a lot of the guys, it's never been explained that like obviously Superman is Clark Kent and Batman is Bruce Wayne and so on, but we never are told that Apache Chief has an alter ego. So he just walks around the street dressed in his Native American getup.
There's no need to hide yourself. You don't really have that.
So right,
the
so
biggest superhero.
So like you say, 20 feet tall. How about just for the sport of it, just go like 10 feet and play in the NBA and call it a day.
In the alter ego, they dress in suits. They have their day clothes. Apache Chief just wears that Indian getup all day.
That's what I'm saying.
Native
Yeah,
American getup all day long. He just walks around apparently Metropolis.
Yeah.
Going to the newsstand, going to the coffee place, and just get dressed like that. And it's just ridiculous to me that that's a superhero. Also, you can judge the superhero by who their arch nemesis is.
I just did. Lex Luthor.
But Lex Luthor, you couldn't be more wrong. I doubt there's a better evildoer than Lex Luthor. But Apache Chief, who was the guy that he used to fight? Wasn't it like a woman? Like a giant woman was his thing?
I don't even know if they developed his character
No, they
fully
did.
enough to
in
have
the Legion
an
of Doom,
arch-nemesis.
I think.
Giganta.
Yeah, they always did.
doppelganger.
Yeah, in the Legion of Doom, you always did have somebody. It was
Giganta.
probably Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy, because the
Solomon Grundy.
the Green Lantern had had the yellow guy, the guy with the yellow ring, right? And
Right.
I think Batman.
Sinestro, I think.
Batman,
right?
they teamed up with Mxyzptlk, the guy who says his name backwards. He's got to go away.
Mxyzptlk. No, Mxyzptlk is one of Superman's lesser foes. And then you got, of course, Joker, Penguin, Riddler.
Right. Who do you hate? You hate Superman. I didn't like Superman, but then you watch the Superman movies, the Chris Reeve movies, especially Superman 2. How can you not love him?
Well, I love Zod and his two cohorts. But see, that
would be a dead space
that.
there that if we weren't live, they take the shears to. They cut that little dead space.
But
right
you
out.
know what? You can't get bogged down.
That's
with
why
it,
every
man.
time we get into a dead area, I'm just going to slap you.
Okay. Good.
I love it. I'm just going to slap that face.
All right. Well, I.
You've lost weight since last week, by the way.
I've not lost any
You
weight.
have. You lost
Enough
a couple
about
pounds.
that. Now I'm talking about superheroes, and the other one, of course, that I love to target, the lamest superhero of them all. Apache Chief's pretty good. By the way, with Apache Chief,
Yeah.
just because he can grow giant, is it ever told us that he can't take a bullet? I don't care if he's 100 feet tall. Throw a couple bullets into him, he's still going down, right?
Yeah, you would think that some sort of tank would really kind of dispatch him
That's
easily.
it. So what? So you're big. So be it. Now,
Fellas?
Aquaman.
Yeah.
That's the lamest of the
You
lame.
hate him.
I do hate him. Because
Why?
Many reasons. First of all, he's got the pretty boy blonde hair.
He's better looking than you? That's the reason why you hate him?
I didn't say that, did I? No. Now, 1, 2, he's got a lousy outfit. He's got that orange scaly shirt with the green pants that his mother may or may not have made for him. I'm not exactly sure. And beyond that, what's his power? He can talk to, first of all, out of the water, he's a liability. The likes of Wonder Woman and Robin have to fight his fights.
It'd be like if you or I were one of the
you're a liability basically.
Yeah.
If you have a showdown, sort of like in
in the mountains. I'll come, guy. No, just clean the pool, Aquaman. Yeah.
Yeah, if it were socias versus greasers is what I'm saying. Like, they toe to toe meeting in a field. Like Aquaman again is a liability, like Ponyboy, who you'd have to cover up for.
Ponyboy got his ass kicked in that fight. Remember that? That was
until the late great Swayze came and saved him.
Too soon.
All right, you're right. I don't want to get down about this. So Aquaman, though, once he is even into the sea, once he puts himself into the sea, what's he do really except he dispatches the creatures of the sea to do his bidding. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything. He just sends out the message. He talks to hey, look, Lex Luthor is in his evil submarine and he's going to launch those nuclear weapons and destroy the world. Hey, Octopus, why don't you do something about it?
Isn't that a talent in its own, though? Isn't that a special skill? On your resume, wouldn't that be a special skill?
Look out,
Can dispatch an octopus to take care of a nuclear warhead?
Lex, look out. The Penguin is about to do ill to the West Coast. Hey, Whale, why don't you go bang your head and stop him from doing that? And then he gets all the glory.
Why wouldn't he?
Because they always talk about him as being the friend of the fish, the best friend the fish ever had. If that's a friend, I don't want any enemies.
By the way,
poor fish. These fish are being duped by Aquaman, but Damashek's not.
Not to split hairs, though. If the Penguin was going to do any kind of damage, that's the Batman's territory. That's Batman and Robin.
You're right.
Wouldn't that be a weird thing? I always thought that'd be kind of funny. The idea
literal,
that what would happen if Lex Luthor is causing trouble and Batman's like, I got this. What are you talking about? I just went to the bathroom. Superman went to the bathroom.
Right.
If I'm not stopping Lex Luthor, what good am I?
Yeah. Didn't Seinfeld actually make jokes about that? That we really don't need any superheroes after Superman? Aren't they all sort of ancillary?
I remember he did some bit about what good is Aquaman, because all he does is dispense fish to things. But
how dare you? Listen, but speaking of unnecessary, is Zan and Jaina, the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
These two, if you're not familiar with
unnecessary. No, actually, I don't agree with that. But go ahead.
Well, Zan and Jaina, they come down from their planet, and they're teenagers, and so they're not really in the Justice League. They're like superheroes in training. They don't get to go out and fight the Legion of Doom. They sort of are doing the training wheels kind of crime fighting, like, oh, someone's robbing a bank, send the kids, is how they treat them.
If that, no, they're more shoplifting.
Yeah, it's lame. Yeah,
someone steals a magazine from the rack, they're going to get Zan and Jaina and Gleek after them.
But they're so they're twins.
Don't forget Gleek.
Gleek, the blue monkey.
The space monkey.
They're ostensibly, they're twins, so you would assume equals, but they're anything but. And I think that whoever came up with these characters, it was a female empowerment yarn. Is really what the backstory.
In what way?
Well, because they're twins, the sister Jaina, she can be any animal in the animal kingdom.
Right.
You see, she could be a rhino, she could be a gorilla.
Any animal, I get it. All right.
Right. She could be a lion.
Right.
An alligator.
You can list them all. Go ahead.
An ape. She could do a snake if
By the way,
need be.
can she be an ocean animal? Can she be a fish? And then can Aquaman have control over her? That's
wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
I just blew your mind,
Wonder if that's his
in America. Huh?
Wonder if that's his thing. He gets her into the water, and then he has his way with her.
Well, it would be great if Aquaman started to frame people. It started to create his own crime in the ocean just to get Jaina into the ocean.
Just like Hanks
then he has
at the
her
end
way.
Then he and Hanks could compare notes. Hanks at the end of Splash goes off with the mermaided Daryl Hannah for all of time. I always found
but
that
he doesn't
very
become
disturbing.
a mermaid right now.
No, but he can live under the sea as long as he's by her side. That's the end of the movie. And she tells him, you can never come back, which is, I don't know why. Why couldn't he never come back? But anyway, he can never return to land. That's the end of the movie, and they swim off, supposedly happy. But how happy are they going to be? I mean, how's he going to be happy after a week? He can't even make sex on her. She's a mermaid.
How do you know he didn't have sex on her?
I mean, she can do
maybe
things to him, but I don't think that...
Maybe that's the beginning of the Aquaman story. Maybe Hanks becomes Aquaman. That's the beginning of... That's the prequel to Aquaman.
Or at least they double date. Yeah, he controls her mind.
Aquaman never became a movie. No one did the Aquaman movie. We should write
that. Except Adrian Grenier in what's it called?
Oh, in Entourage?
Entourage, yeah.
Oh,
he
there
played
you go.
Aquaman.
That's right.
Of all the things for them to do, too. He's Aquaman?
Right. James Cameron's Aquaman, don't forget.
Yeah, kind of
In between Titanic and Avatar, he decides to do Aquaman.
So Jaina can be any animal in the animal kingdom. She can do whatever she wants. And her brother Zan, her equal supposedly,
Yes.
what can he do? Purple water. That's it. He can turn into
Boy, are you simplifying things.
three forms of H2O. That's it, man.
But he
I'm
can
missing
become
something.
anything if he wanted to. He can become anything water.
Anything?
He can become, like, they can't get into a door. He becomes an ice key, and you get into the door that way.
Right, so she turns into an elephant and knocks the door down, rendering his talent moot.
No, it's an elephant-proof door.
No, the only reason he does anything, first of all, he's a liability when it's time to travel because he has to turn into a pail of purple water that Gleek then carries. Or no, she carries. She turns
in her
into
talons, she becomes
shape of. Yeah, that's what
right.
they do. They go like this. They go shape up. Wonder Twin powers activate.
Form of an ice key.
She says any animal I desire to be. He's like I can be one of 3 forms of water.
Yes,
That's
but
it,
it's usually,
of
but also
H2O.
the fact that if you want a criminal to slip up, he
Steam.
becomes ice.
What's he going to be? Steam.
No, because
he to go through a door. Who cares?
he becomes ice, and the criminal slips up.
That, again, see, he's lucky that he had a nice sister in Jaina because she patronized him basically by
Right.
being like, hey, Zan, I'm going to knock these guys over. Why don't you, I'm going to be an ape. Why don't you turn into a sheet of ice and I'll bump them into you and they'll slip on you. And he'd be like, great idea, Jaina. Teamwork. He's like, yeah, some teamwork. Yeah, get back in the pail and I'll lug your butt home again.
So if you're ranking
and
it-
the blue monkey on my back.
If
I'm
you're
not doing enough.
If you rank him in importance, it goes Jaina first, then it goes the Space Monkey Gleek, then it goes Zan.
I mean, I don't. Gleek
You say the
isn't-
monkey is more important
Gleek's
than Zan.
not a detriment, but Jaina, while in the midst of trying to bust up these crimes, also has to think, how am I gonna? How am I gonna throw my overly sensitive brother, who probably gets, unless he's completely dense, that I'm obviously the only one doing any real work here. You know?
Were they making love, you think, Zan and Jaina?
No, but now you've intrigued me with your idea about Aquaman getting her to be a fish and then having his way with her, but then trying to overcome the fact that if she's a fish, does he still want to have his way with her, or is that his thing? Is that one of the things? Listen, I don't put anything by Aquaman. He's already using them to gain fame and fortune and status at the Justice League. He's dispatching these poor dumb fish to do whatever he wants. Why wouldn't he go the extra mile and say, hey, while you're at it, like number 7 Roethlisberger in a dirty woman's toilet taking advantage of a 20-year-old girl, why wouldn't Aquaman do that to a blowfish?
You had to bring up 7.
Blowfish.
You had to bring up poor 7.
I like the
idea of Jaina and Aquaman having their date or their assault, whatever he does, and then Jaina having to go explain it to Zan that night. And then Zan, because he's usually feckless, has to go stand up to Aquaman. What did you do to my sister? And then, you know what? Then he's actually effective. Then he, becomes the water that Aquaman swims in, and then he freezes up, and then you capture
Isn't
Aquaman.
that an interesting fight? The fight
That's Act
of
3 of the
worst-
movie.
Listen, dopes like Colin Cowherd,
You don't care for him.
4 or 5 years after if you'll recall, we did our super villain fights and our superhero fights, all that stuff. Johnny Come Latelys are doing that as though they've stumbled onto some great thing. How about the tournament of the worst superheroes? And that's an interesting bout, Aquaman versus Zan.
That's a really good one.
What a terrible fight that one
Are you
is.
still mad at Cowherd? You just mentioned
Mad at him.
You don't like him? You don't get along with him?
I'm not a fan of his work, but I have no personal animus.
Have you ever talked to him one-on-one?
Sure, of course I have.
I remember that
I've had a
ESPN
couple of
launch party.
conversations.
Remember that ESPN
I've
launch
had,
party?
yeah, as a matter of fact, I've had a few encounters with him. We'll get to those at a later date, though. I'd be happy to share those stories. So
you
you're
brought up
going
the fact-
Apache Chief. I'm going. It's tough. I'm going Aquaman 1. Zan 2, because it's unfair to target him since he's just a superhero in training. And then, not Superman isn't lame, but if you're a fan of his, you got to take a long look at the man or woman in the mirror and ask yourself, where your
What's going on
priorities
now?
are. What's going on here with
Jacuzzi
Jacuzzi
Pete?
Pete?
I just wanted to weigh in with the lame heroes. And
Well, can we hear Jacuzzi
Please.
Pete's intro? You're not to speak. I don't know why you're barging in. First of all, Jacuzzi Pete.
We tell you when to come in, not the other way around.
Show yourself to the dozens of viewers.
Look
why
how
don't
red
you,
he gets,
Jacuzzi
though. He
Pete?
gets
Yeah,
so
really
red
is
when he
nervous.
gets on camera.
He's
get
going to
hurt.
match. We're going to lose him in this couch. We're not going to be able to see his head. It's going to be a black
I
sweatshirt.
just want to weigh in with the superhero thing. Lame heroes.
Look at him put himself right in the middle of us.
What,
before
are we
he-
hearing your theme?
Well, if you had your headphones on, you would have heard it.
Oh, we already heard it? It
Yeah,
played?
it played.
Yeah, Damashek had a no headphones rule because we're on video. He goes, I don't
Yeah,
want to
I
see
know.
that. He goes,
Well, because who
what he
wants to
said
look
was,
at this? Listen, I'm the only aesthetically
You guys,
pleasing
before
thing in this otherwise awful
Before
shot.
he started, he goes, Feeney, by the way, no cans today. I go, no cans today? He didn't want the headphones on.
That's what I said.
No cans.
I'll put 'em on.
Definitely the Dave Damashek vanity project for sure.
Oh, how dare you.
The Dave Damashek Vanity Project.
Oh, here we go.
Jacuzzi Pete, he's hiding out where his wife is not.
Now listen.
We got to come up with better lyrics. I mean, as usually when you write it, it's bad.
That's
I'll
a one-man house band,
take a
Dick
stab
Banks
at it over
effort,
the
and it's
weekend.
terrific. And it was pointed out to me that isn't just the late great Bob Palmer.
It's Power Station.
That's Power Station. Well, I'm sorry. Excuse me for getting that one wrong.
That was after your
Jacuzzi Pete, we have a lot of business to get to. Please.
I'm just weighing in about the lame superheroes, and there are no good black superheroes. There never have been.
Black Falcon. He wasn't a good one. And it's condescending, too, that you have to identify him. You say it's not enough that he could just be Falcon. No, he has to be the Black Falcon.
First of all, it's
Black
African American.
Lightning.
Black Lightning. Who's that?
I didn't name him. His name is the Black Falcon.
Who's Black
He's-
Lightning?
Black Vulcan,
Wait a minute.
the
wasn't-
Black Panther.
Can I say something? Weren't that? He's been looking at the
Wow,
internet.
that's outrageous.
He's been going. He's
That
been
really
Googling
is.
things.
I've been
Now I'm
Googling.
officially
He
offended
Googled the
by
last
this. You
20
did-
minutes.
All these people, all these superheroes, they have to put black in front of
That's
them?
what I'm saying.
That's outrageous.
That's outrageous.
I'm going
isn't
to
it?
blow your mind right now. I think Zan and Jaina, African American.
No. They're Asian.
They certainly weren't white.
They're Asian. I think their parents, I think they're from mixed ethnicity because I think they're part Asian and part Vulcan because they have the pointy ears. True. So I think that's
Black
what-
Falcon. Okay, you brought race into it. Controversial.
Yeah, well,
Fantastic.
Black Falcon is as Captain America's sort of sidekick, right? Isn't that
Kind of. I mean, he also
basically-
had Bucky, and in the '70s, I don't want to get hardcore on you, but
Please.
you know,
I wasn't around them, but go ahead.
Bucky was like the Robin to Captain America. And then in the '70s or something, they tried to get a little more PC.
Well, then
but then they called
Captain
Black
America
Falcon.
got killed and Bucky took over as Captain America. See, I know a little bit, and they are making the Captain America movie. I just read.
The only great stride I think they've done for black superheroes is they made a black guy one of the Green Lanterns.
All right.
I can't believe they didn't call him Black Lantern with the way this going.
But you know what, though? Now that you bring this up, this is something, I don't know, you've really cast a light and apparently long overdue light on the you know, this is just unacceptable. We hear a lot about in college football the lack of African-American head coaches.
Yeah.
But what about this? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jacuzzi.
I just want to enlighten you.
Away.
Scram. Be gone.
We'll call you when we want you.
I got to get to the jerk list.
Sorry.
All right?
But
I'm
first,
go-
I want to bring up something before you get to that list because you
I'm
talked
not
about.
getting to the jerk list. I told you, you've been spinning your yarns on this show all the time.
Right.
All right, so I want to spin a yarn, but all right, go ahead.
First,
Say
let
what
me
you're
ask
gonna say.
because you brought up Culp. This whole thing got started because of the superhero.
We lost Graves, too.
We lost
recently.
Peter Gray. Bob Culp to me was the big blow. And do you remember how he died? How he died this past week? He died because he was walking in the hills and he fell and hit his head. And if you read these obituaries,
He conked his head?
he conked his head and he got knocked cold, kind of like William Holden. William Holden, who's this great actor in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and Network, all his movies, Sunset Boulevard. He was also an explorer. He went all over the world, Africa, safaris. Yet a coffee table killed him. He was drunk one day in Santa Monica. He tripped a coffee table.
You're kidding me.
He knocked his head. And
Wow.
he died. He bled to death. The same thing happened to Culp. And if you read these obituaries about Culp,
I wouldn't take
even
the hat
with-
off. That's not a good
Even
look
with
for you.
Graves, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
slap your
I'm trying to help
Fat
you.
face of yours.
Listen, we're here to.
And what happened?
constructive
I was reading
criticism.
these obituaries, and it just made me sick because I don't think they did him justice. And then I started to think, what celebrities do I know really well? And what would their obituaries be? And I thought, oh my God, Dave Damashek. What happened
Yeah.
if we lost Damashek? What if I wasn't around? And I started to think about your death, and I started to fantasize about your death, and it was actually quite funny. Then I went back to, wait a minute, what if we lost him? What if I don't get to see? Because they're not going to write an obituary about me. They're going to write one about you. You're clearly kind of, it's the Dave Damashek show. Dave Damashek Vanity Project, of course, starring
Seems to
David
be.
Feeney. So I looked up your date of death. They have these tests, dateofdeath.com. They have these website where you can see, you type in information, personal information about your life. Do you drink?
What is this?
Family
This is a
history?
predictor of when you die?
And it is, and it predicts when
oh,
you die.
really? It uses
does.
some sort of like.
It
It
is.
uses.
Well, you do like drinking history. Maybe I exaggerate a little bit. Your medical history, that kind of thing. How old are your parents? Blah blah blah. And so I went into it and I typed in all your information.
How
and
long do I have?
And it gave me your date of death. You ready for this?
I guess so.
May 4th, 2023.
Oh wow!
May 4th, 2023. You better act fat. And so then I decided, again in the fantasy, what would your obituary be? I took it upon myself to write.
I'm not going to get to 50.
I'm going to write your obituary if that's all right with you. I wrote it. I'm going
Wow,
to read it to you
thank
right
you.
now. Are
I
you
guess
excited?
that's
Can I
nice.
read it?
I guess, yeah, that'll be terrific.
Okay. There's no music for this. Ready?
I'd like some sad music, actually. The world's just lost Damashek. I think.
I can't concentrate with the picture of Black Falcon on the monitor.
That's not Black Falcon. That's
Who is
Black
that?
Lightning. And by the way, see, you're referring to things that the audience can't see.
See, this is this. See,
That's
this
bad
is why an
form.
obituary is not going to be read about
That's
me. Read
bad
about-
form out of you. Black Falcon's red. He's a falcon. Does that look like a falcon to you?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. Can I go into this, please?
I'd like you to.
Ready for this? May 4th, 2023. Radio funny man William David Damashek, best known for his work as one half of the podcast power duo Days of Thunder, died Saturday in a studio apartment home. He was 59. Police, upon finding a note next to the body...
59.
Police, upon finding a note next to the body reading, "See you in hell, Dennis Gibson," suspect suicide. Damashek, or the Shek, as he preferred to be called by his fans, first came into the national consciousness as sidekick on the morning drive time hit The Adam Carolla Show, alongside comedian and Hollywood Walk of Fame honoree Theresa Strasser. His public feud with Strasser in 2007 was surpassed only a decade later by their very public affair, wedding, and quickie loophole divorce. To this day, the 10-second rule, wherein if the marriage is consummated by the male in under 10 seconds, it doesn't count, has become a tentpole in California family law. The passing of Damashek has left an indelible void in the lives of his family, friends, and former co-workers. Damn a who? Questioned musician Richard Dick Banks, author of the book 100 Things I Do Alone and Stoned with My Guitar. Oh, Damashek? That guy with a really round head? He owes me money. I didn't hate him, though. It was the same round head that fueled the Shek's 2018 comeback when he played Gary Grapefruit on the syndicated kids TV show Jacuzzi Pete and Friends. Gary Grapefruit's catchphrase, "Pink and delicious, and I'm nutritious," was a big hit with pre-adolescent viewers. "I love my young fans," the Shek once told the Santa Monica Daily Press. "I just love them, love them, love them." Damashek's words proved prophetic when he was convicted on 2 felony counts of indecent exposure to a minor. His 3-year stretch at Pelican Bay State Prison, along with his man show sketch Porta-Juggies, were arguably the low points of his career. Damashek is survived by his wives, 11 children, and 2 ferrets, Chichu and Timu. In lieu of flowers, the family requests donations be made to his favorite charity, the Maria Lemieux Center for Transgendered Athletes in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Maria Lemieux. Now, I'm fine with all of it until the shot at 66.
He gets it!
Listen, you're a ridiculous ass. I hope you're happy with yourself. Is it fun to have a laugh at my expense?
It's not at your
Look,
expense.
congratulations.
What it is,
Everybody
they're
behind
not
the glass
laughing.
is delighted by it. They're over the moon with that. Taking shots at Damashek.
I particularly like the 10-second rule. That was my favorite.
That was your... That was,
Yeah,
that
it was
was
Theresa Strasser.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
Do you still get along with her?
Of course. I'm going to be paying a visit to
Why don't you
her
tease that?
and Lynette Carolla's, because I'm not sure of the date exactly yet. I think
Is that
going to
be weird? How long since you last?
We've had to move the date a couple of times. I think in April we'll come in.
When was the last time you saw her?
Last time I saw
Strasser?
Theresa?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, it would be. I don't think I've seen her since 2006.
I bring it up for only one reason. Arguably the Lex Luthor to your Superman.
I don't really see it that way. Do
Oh,
you?
absolutely. Your arch nemesis.
So
The
in other
creator
words, you're
of
saying
a
I
load
am a
of
man of
destruction.
steel who's indestructible?
I think so.
All right.
In my eyes.
Right.
The kryptonite being, I don't know what.
And she's a middle-aged villain who's smart? Is that what the...
And I secretly suspect bald.
All right, well, listen. Fine work. All right, listen. We got to get to the jerk list quickly, though.
Yes, that's what
you've
people
been
wanna hear.
you've been taking up way too much time.
With what?
With your stories and your lurid yarns about the ways you've taken advantage of women in here.
Taking advantage. I was taken advantage of. They made me do those things.
Well, many women in Hollywood have felt the touch of David Feeney.
They've all fallen to my hands.
in dirty blaster. Yeah, in dirty toilets, in front yards, and so on and so forth. In humiliating fashion,
I don't recall telling a front yard story.
You told. Oh, we'll get to that one. Yeah, well, I want to hear the front yard story. Let's say these are ones down the line. You told the story about how you role played a rape when she was running on a track at her request. That
wasn't my idea.
That was at her request. So
it doesn't go to what a coxman I am. It goes to what a pathetic boyfriend I am. I just
you were
roll over
willing
and
to
do whatever
that?
they tell me.
Yeah. But here's an
Those are all in the
important
past
story.
now, by the way, because I found the love of my life.
That's
Jennifer,
right.
my life, who you saw the other day.
That's right. Lovely lady. Yes, we
You
had
couldn't
a
have
few
been
belts.
rude. You couldn't have been ruder
How
to
was
her.
I rude to her?
You didn't care at all about her. You didn't ask her one goddamn question.
That's
about her.
absolutely
It was
untrue.
all about Seven. It was all about this, that, the podcast. Have you heard the podcast?
I said, listen.
And then I don't want to get into it today, but then of course, conveniently, the bill comes, the check comes, you forget your wallet.
That's
Did you pay?
absolutely
Did you
not-
pay?
No, you insisted. You have to put on a show for your lady.
Oh,
What we're gonna
can I
do.
say really quick before, because I want to get to the thing. The best part about hanging out with you Thursday was Pete. Well, first of all, Syracuse lost. You watched Syracuse play that.
That's right. And last time we did the show, I bit my tongue. I did not reveal to you that the Syracuse Orange had taken care of Gonzaga. Well, I was a good guy. I could have told you that. If I was a jerk, I would have told you that that Syracuse won.
So you're supposed to be lauded for not being a jerk?
I'm just telling you that. Listen,
you're going to have a jerk list. You're going to be on my jerk list in a second. The best thing about going to the we went to Barney's to watch the thing.
Barney's Beanery, one of our favorite
right, to watch the games, was that Pete Campbell from Mad Men was there. He was there, and he played that card where he came in with a sweatshirt over his head and the dark glasses so no one would recognize him, and then sat at the table and then kind of dramatically lifted the hood off and like, hello, I'm Pete Campbell, and then, people came over and they said hello to me. And before you got there, I was talking to Jennifer about that, and I said, isn't it great, though, that, that people, that ridiculous ass stars act like that, and then Damashek comes in with a hat pulled down over his head and the sunglasses, comes into the Barney's Beanery, and then dramatically takes his hat off, takes the sunglasses off. Here I am, Dave Damashek, orders drinks, then doesn't pay for them.
Well, listen, what happened.
What a celebrity.
What happened, and then also there, we were bookended by C-listers. Pete Campbell, great on the show.
Yeah.
Looked like a 14-year-old boy, first of all. Really looked like he shouldn't have been allowed in the
bar. But also frail, like you were saying. Maybe 130 pounds.
And then on the other side, anything but frail, Jerry, the big guy, the dope of the office in Parks and Recreation, which I'm going to say it here and now, Parks and Recreation has surpassed The Office now.
Oh, by far, especially this year. Oh, by far.
Great
it's
show.
#1 this year for me.
Yeah. Well,
#2, Party
that's
Down.
Another
show
show
on Stars. All right, that's another list.
Party of 5?
Party Down.
Oh, Party Down.
Show on
Party
Stars.
Down.
Right, a terrific show.
That's great. That's a good show. Yeah, a list of the funniest shows going on.
You
TV.
were talking about your sex story.
There's a renaissance of good sitcoms these days.
Now that I'm off network TV, for some reason comedies are good again.
And perhaps someday soon, Adam Carolla will have a sitcom on the air.
Yeah, I got to talk to you about that.
Here's my story
that
I'd like to share, because it's an important message for everybody out there, because it's spring break time right now. That's leading into summer, and everybody's going to be thinking about going to the ocean. But it's not enough. I know a lot of people, especially around these parts, like to work on their body and getting buff and looking good in their bikini or their Speedo or whatever to try and
Speedo. Okay.
Well, I don't know what you like to wear at the beach.
I don't go to the beach. I don't like it.
I haven't been to the beach with you in years.
Yeah. Since your kids. Another example of your kids ruining your life.
So
your kids ruining our friendship.
I'll be going to the beach with my children. But listen, before I had children, here's the story. You're going to go there. It's important. The Atlantic, I spent my youth always taking the family drive. We would drive to the Atlantic. We'd go to Ocean City, Maryland, and Rehoboth Beach, and places like that. Every year was a wonderful annual trip. And as a child, the first thing, you get to the water, I got to get in can we go in? Can we go in? And, your mother, hey, we just ate, mate. You'd have to be reined in a little bit. But no, I can't be, I'm sprinting. First thing, I'm getting right into the water.
Sure.
As an adult, though, you have to learn a little bit of patience. But more importantly, you have to learn the Atlantic is great, but for my money, the Pacific, magical, medicinal qualities that I can't explain. They're beyond my grasp as a human being, a mere mortal.
The Atlantic doesn't have?
I don't know why, but for some reason the Pacific is colder than the Atlantic.
I love it.
When you go in the summertime. But after about 15 seconds in, the temperature of the sea melds with the temperature of your body. You go in. When I go to the Pacific these days, I go into the sea not just to wash off the day's soils, you understand, but all of society's ills. I emerge anew, baptized, that's what the Pacific does for me. And so
you're usually drunk, by the way, though, at the Pacific. I'm wondering if that's the medicinal quality you're talking about. Oh, it seems so magical because you're half in the bag.
Don't judge me. So I now, though, instead of just running to the water, I'll laze in the sun, in the Southern California sun, and really work up a good lather. Really
What does
work
that
up
mean? Sweat? Oh, sweat.
Sweat, yeah. So that
lather of sweat.
Yeah. So that the sweat even pools in the nape of my neck.
That's disgusting.
I lay there. I can't take it for another second. With whatever energy I have, I pull myself to my feet. I stagger to the shoreline and I collapse into the Pacific. And there I take my bath. And I'll stay in.
And you make your water.
Again, so be it.
It's your
What
seat.
happens in there?
Yeah.
It's my sea. I like to contribute to it. It's a living, breathing thing, and next time I go back, it welcomes me back. You know,
It
you're a
gives
part
to
of
you. This
sea.
is just your way of giving back to
That's
it.
right. So I made one of my sojourns to the sea with my lovely bride.
But this is years ago, before you got married?
This is before the children. This
Okay.
is before the children. So we went to the sea. And as I just described, I finally, after working up a good lather until I could really and truly appreciate everything that it had to offer, I went into the water. And the waves were great, and I frolicked like a child. Timeless, you know.
Frolicked.
I love it.
Good for you.
I love it. I love getting
What does
in the
frolicking
wave.
entail? Is that splashing?
No, I like to catch a wave and ride it in.
Body surf?
maybe,
Okay.
You know, sometimes I like to bob my head up over the wave. Sometimes I like to go right in under it and
Do you
feel
wave
the
to
toes.
Cindy on the beach? Hey, honey,
Well,
look at me, look at me.
This day, she, for whatever reason, wasn't interested in coming in. I summoned her. I said, come in, take your bath. You know, she didn't want any part of it. No matter to me, really. I wasn't going to get down. I wasn't going to get distracted for more than a moment. I continued to enjoy the offerings of the sea that day. I waved to her maybe once or twice more, but she refused. She stayed out of the water the entire day for some reason. Finally, I came out, and how better to finish a wonderful day in the Pacific than having a couple of belts, you know. We don't have anybody to answer to. There weren't any kids to get home to.
You mean a cooler on the beach, or no? You went to
No, you know, there are a lot of bars, and you know, we were in
Hermosa, Redondo, around there?
this day actually, yeah, we
Not
were
Malibu.
we were in Malibu.
Oh, wow.
We were in Malibu that day.
Big spender.
And nearby is Santa Monica, so we stopped off at the Library Ale House where we've enjoyed some belts in the past. So we went there, had a couple of belts, but before we went in, of course, I'm still in my seafaring gear. I didn't have.
Seafaring gear. I'm picturing like a onesie bathing suit from like the 1920s. You with a handlebar mustache.
That's right. That's how I dress. So
a thing around your waist.
before we went into the bar, I pulled on a pair of jeans over my Speedo. No, my swim trunks. I pulled those on. Then I went down and to put my shoe on. And by the way, as I say, the waves, they were aggressive that day. And I got hit in the face a few times, hard. It didn't bother me, so be it. If that's what the sea had to deliver to me that day, I was taking it.
It gives and takes, yeah.
It hit me, you know, whatever. So I went, as we're outside the bar, I go to tie my shoe. And as I bend over to tie my shoe, all of a sudden, like nothing I've ever seen before or since, water pours out of my nose like a faucet. Really, like a faucet had been turned on. Water pours out of my nose. My bride sees this and is repelled by it. It's like, oh my God, it's disgusting. What is that? I said, I have no idea what's going on. That is disgusting. But we go in, have a couple of belts.
You don't go to the doctor? You don't go to a hospital? That's an alarming
It was
occurrence.
very strange. It really was weird. So we got, you know, listen, I do have an ample nose and whatever.
True,
I guess
not true.
I guess there's plenty of storage inside there somewhere in my nasal
That's not
cavity.
just the nose, though. That's something else going on.
Well, whatever the explanation.
But you still go into the bar. I love it.
Go into the bar, have a few.
Without your wallet,
Then we
I'm
go
assuming.
home. Now, to complete the hat trick, now we go, you know, what does Damashek like better? You go, one.
Not paying for things.
Listen, please, it's enough. I'm
Go
done.
ahead, go ahead.
One, the sea. Frolicking in the sea, taking my bath. Two, having a few belts. Number three, the cherry on top, a lovemaking session. How better to complete the day
Not at the
than to
ale house.
interact like a man and a woman are known to interact once in a while.
In the bathroom, Roethlisberger style?
No.
That's
We
my way,
went back
see?
to our home. We went back to our home, and we started. I only shared this detail. I apologize for being graphic. Unlike Feeney, I feel a sense of decorum, but I have to tell this for the story.
Well, you married the
we
woman,
started. She was the aggressor, if you know what I mean. I started prone. I was on my back, you see. But at some point,
Prone?
I was on
I
my
love
back.
it.
At some point, though,
Weak.
I decided to become
Beaten.
the aggressor. I became the aggressor, and when I transferred from back to the other, when I went this way and I turned over, all of a sudden, water poured from my nose once again, all over her face and her bosom. She was disgusted. She screamed, and I said to her, "You see, this is a message from the sea. You were getting a bath one way or the other." You see?
Hold on. Not dialing 911, which would any concerned wife would be.
911. You were on fire.
Jacuzzi Pete.
I'm in the midst of a story.
He's
That's not why
hiding
the
out
story is over.
where his wife is
You've
not.
done that today.
But so
There won't be a
listen,
third.
kids out there, it's important to take your bath in the sea, or who knows? You're gonna get it one way or the other. Apparently, if my story is any
What's
less
this about?
I just had to interrupt. Your story is great, but I had to cut it short before Feeney got into another one of his sex yarns. I just had to.
No
cut
one
you
wants
off.
to hear that. Can we take 1 week's break from your story?
I
I
knew-
have
Of how
7
you-
written down.
of how
I
you
knew he was going to try to top
emotionally
you.
at least abused another woman.
I was the one who got abused, you see.
Well, I have to interrupt you. The audience has spoken. Albert C. said, hey, there's just too many uninteresting, saucy stories from Feeney. I have news for him.
Saucy.
I don't think they're uninteresting, for the record. I like these stories.
Just the fact that he's having sex with girls in public places does not automatically make them interesting. So I just wanted to put the kibosh.
Albert-
Role
What
playing
should I talk about
a
then,
rape
obviously?
at the request of the woman. She's running around the track, and he pretends to assault her on the track isn't interesting. I
disturbing.
disagree with Albert C.
Who's Albert C. to say anything? I want to hear about Albert C.'s sex life. Big deal.
Well,
you can drop us a line. How?
Albert C.
He could email the show. Apparently, they've even given me a new email address, jacuzzipete@adamcarolla.com.
Oh, terrific. Jacuzzi Pete. Jacuzzi
really
Pete,
stuck.
of course. Jacuzzi Pete, in case you're a newcomer to the show, because you, unlike my wife and I, you like to go into a jacuzzi at night once the kids go to bed, not so that you can spend quality time with your bride, but instead by yourself, and you shut her out. So you're Jacuzzi Pete.
It's my fortress of solitude. It's
I wonder
true.
if the microphone's getting my growling stomach. Man, am I hungry.
Have you eaten? There was donuts there.
Chris,
I didn't have
you
a
heard any of
donut,
that? No, you're good. Your stomach's good.
Okay.
I'm going to leave you alone because we are going to move things along. So we've got jerk lists to get to. We've got people on the lines. They're very
Oh,
excited.
yeah, opening up
But
the jerk
This isn't
hotline.
the Jacuzzi Pete show, Vanity Project, starring Jacuzzi Pete.
You would never know that, though, since we've had 2 interruptions.
Jacuzzi Pizza Thunder?
Hold on. I'll get out of here. One second. I just wanted to read you one other thing. By the way, Julian had written in and said, I'd like to point out last week Shek's example of prototypical boring softball questions that Leno's producers were going to ask Kimmel was, what's your favorite
Oh, yeah, we
vegetable?
talked about Jay Leno and Jimmy Kimmel.
Because you ran
in
into Melendez.
That's right.
Stuttering John.
But then-
we'll get him on the show.
But then fast forward a few minutes, and then the Daves launch into a full-blown vegetable power ranking discussion.
Right. The Daves? No. That was your baby.
Oh, well,
I just played ball.
Well, move over. It's apparently it's the Jacuzzi Pete and Julie's of Thunder. Well,
Julian
how
and
dare
Albert
you
C.
weigh in? I play
Don't
by
work
my
on their
own
show.
rules. Do as I say, not as I do. I don't know.
We're
what the
making you a
cliche
star,
is.
man.
I think I blew the segue, Dave, but I was hoping that would lead you into calling this guy out for what he really is.
Oh, it's Julian. Yeah, Julian. Yeah, that's right. We got to get to it anyway. Let's get the one real quick ahead of time. Julian, for having the gall to weigh in on what Damashek and Feeney decide to talk about on the podcast. Hey, Julian, you're a listener? No, how about this? You're a jerk!
And now,
No! Who's working the blaster instead of you?
Don't look at that thing. Look at the camera when you do the jerk thing. That's your thing. That's your calling card.
Call it out one more time. Ready, Katie? The blaster first.
I'm working now.
Jerk! Katie, I'm sorry, right before we even really formally get into it, put yourself in the crosshairs. No back talk. Just do it. Jerk.
A little late that
A
time.
little pause there. I was concerned.
Before we get to the list, which we should, but people should send in stories like that. If Albert C. thinks he's a gigantic, terrific coxman, listeners,
All right.
podcast listeners, send in your lurid stories. Send in your sex
Lurid
stories. We'll
stories.
read them.
Well, maybe we should read them,
Great idea.
or maybe people should call in with them. You know what? Yeah, better that we can suss them out like penthouse letters. or
Exactly, and I'm sure that I'll do a very good job, or you'll do a very good job.
Great
reading
idea,
them.
Feeney.
That's a great idea.
Email jacuzzipete@adamcarolla.com.
To the camera, my friend.
Email jacuzzipete@adamcarolla.com. Your saucy stories.
All right. Oh, also, we're on Twitter. Damashek is available on Twitter. Is Jacuzzi Pete available on Twitter?
Will be very soon.
Why are you on Twitter? Who do you think
not
you
gonna
are
get- I'm
that
not
you're
gonna get on
you're
Twitter.
going to put yourself out there, but you don't have to play by the
I
rules
want to
of
get to
making
the jerk
yourself
list
accessible?
because I know we're late. We'll talk about it next week, but I'm not going to get on Twitter ever.
All right. Well, what do you want to call this lurid sex segment?
Why don't people send in their answers, send in their ideas? I think
Because we've already gotten Daves of Thunder.
why don't we
Well,
call
I actually came up with Daves
you
of Thunder.
suggested
I don't
Days
like
of
it.
Thunder.
Yeah.
I said you're going to hate that.
I also said
Oh,
Dave
no, I'm gonna
Damashek
love it. You don't
Vanity
know.
Project too. So
No, that was mine.
No, it wasn't.
That absolutely was
was?
mine.
That
The
was
Dave
Feeney's.
Dameshek
That
Vanity
was
Project starring David Feeney. That was my idea.
All right. So
Let's get to the jerk list. We'll discuss my stuff next week. I got to get out of here.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had such a full social calendar. All right, so I guess we're gonna get to the jerk list. So with no further ado, hit it.
And now, the jerk list.
It's kind of a jerk.
Jerk.
Jerk!
I'm a jerk.
You're jerks! Jerk and double jerk!
Jerk. 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 Jerk.
Jerk! 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 Jerk!
I just would like to show everybody it's a full list.
Jerk!
Yeah, we're here for another hour.
I know. Oh, at least everybody get comfortable. I'm sorry.
That's shorthanded, though.
Don't tell me what to do.
Can I say no more doubles or singles? I want triples or home
But you're
runs.
on thin ice. We just heard the
Then
jerk
put
list.
me on the list.
We just heard the jerk list intro, and now you have the temerity to start telling me what to do? I mean, really, it's foolish at some point.
Don't do
You're
it.
like Jesse James sending text message number 293 thinking you're not going to get caught.
Put him on the list. You should put Jesse James.
You'll get caught. Listen, I say it all the time, but jerks and creeps out there, I love to say it for the sport of it. Go ahead, take a running start. Know that you have a week, maybe several weeks in between jerk lists. You think you can run and hide? You can't outrun justice. Now, we're gonna do it, but again, people don't like being on the jerk list for obvious reasons. You feel the sting of the Han Solo edition blaster. Of course, it's not good to be on the jerk list. People get upset about it, but remember, don't get upset with me if you hear your name here, because ultimately, I didn't do this to you. You did this to you. Let it begin! All right, here we go. First up, this is something I've been noticing quite a bit of late. Now, I go on the Facebook from time to time. Again, I'm a 21st century man. I don't do as much as other people do with it, but still, it's an interesting way to keep up with people who you knew in high school and college and so on, and see pictures of these people and so on. But here's a new little fad, and also it's on Twitter, and that's sending condolences out on Facebook. This is an unacceptable thing. This is the way you send your deepest, heartfelt sympathies out to somebody, is by writing a line or two about how sorry you are to hear about great Aunt Myrna stuck somewhere in between an invitation to play Mafia Wars and an update on what somebody ate for breakfast. It couldn't be more ridiculous to do this. You should be ashamed of yourself. Write a little handwritten note. Drop a line. Better yet, send some flowers. Go to the memorial.
Flowers is what you do. Flowers is always the Cadillac answer.
What you don't do is try and squeeze it into 140 characters.
What would it look like?
your
Sorry for your loss, for
I can't tell you how sorry I am, but stay strong. We're thinking of you.
It's better you not do anything at all.
And then put a little emoticon, a little sad face with a tear.
That's the word.
So anyway, if you're sending condolences on Facebook, you might think you're a thoughtful person. Here's a shorter name for you. Jerk!
Well done.
Next up.
Well done.
Thank you.
No, her.
Here's another quick one. I've noticed this really since Lost hit the air. You're a fan. I watch
Love
the
the show. Yeah.
Some people, there are a lot of people out there who have declared it the best show on TV. One of whom is Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel likes, he wouldn't call his own show on the air the best show on TV?
No, that's interesting.
Isn't that really telling, I think?
No, I think it's selfless, I don't think you do that.
Good for him.
Are you the sort of guy who ran for office in high school? Did you run for class treasurer or something and vote for yourself?
That would imply if I had friends, which I did not.
Yeah,
which is the reason why I don't go on Facebook.
Yeah, but Lost is fine. All right, it's been compelling. It's had its high moments. It's had some things that I don't really care about. Blah, blah, blah. But everybody who has declared it now the best show on TV, this is more a speculative one, a potential one, but how do we know if it's a great show or not? And we won't know until it ends by the nature of the show. We have to see how it resolves itself before we can say it might be a terrible ending.
Right.
In that case, now you've just wasted 5 or 6 years of my life, producers of Lost. Now, if it's great, I'm happy to say, yeah, wow, that was better than I possibly could have imagined. But these people declaring it here and now, the best show on TV, I don't care for it. You're going to have egg on your face, but before you have egg on your face, you're going to feel the sting of the blaster. Why? Because you're a jerk!
It's not like other shows like Seinfeld or Raymond that can kind of get away with a
Yeah, right.
lackluster finale because, oh, you know what? Remember the series as a whole. If this doesn't end well, it's
Of
going to go down
course.
as a
That's the
gigantic end.
That's
You're
exactly
absolutely right.
the greatest time waster of all time. Is what it's
I don't think this show has peaked, by the way, since season 1. But season 1 was the best.
I think we're heading down a bad path too with the talk about hell and everything. Is that really what it's going to be? A heaven and hell thing?
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not for me. You know what? Should we do it? Should we open up the jerk hotline and take a call? We have people waiting on the line.
People have called.
We'll do it. Let's see what Tim in Oklahoma has to say. Tim, what's going down? You're the first on the jerk hotline ever. Oh, I got to put on the cans, and so do you,
boy.
Feeney. Tim, what's going down? Tim, I'm about to close the jerk hotline. Don't tell. You push the buttons. I'm busy.
Hit 3. Like this, I hit 3. Hello?
You know what? This is
Oh, like that.
beneath me.
Hello?
Tim,
Hello.
there he is. Tim, what's going down? Welcome to the jerk hotline.
I got jerks for you.
Oh, you do? Lay them on me, man.
Hold on. First of all, is he watching us on video right now?
Unfortunately not.
Well, no, probably fortunately.
Engage your listener. Where's he calling from?
I just told you
This
he's
is
calling
Radio
from
101.
Oklahoma.
No, but talk to him about it. What's going on in Oklahoma?
Tim, where in
What's
Oklahoma
the weather
are you?
today?
All right, let me give you my jerks. I can't really hear you very well. Okay. These internet creeps that hate on Feeney and the Dave and Thunder show in general, which is obviously a triumphant masterpiece. They think they're clever with their insulting little comments, but I say they're jerks. How say you, Damashek?
Oh, I like it. Yeah, there you go. You got the blaster right there, Tim. Nicely done.
I love it.
However, we have to stop for a second here. Tim's fine call, because whoever is putting up the calls on the screen there for us to see has listed Tim as calling in for anyone who's hating on Beanie.
Beanie?
Who is Beanie? You're working on this show and you
the hell
listed him
wrote
as
Beanie?
Beanie.
Which one of you
Beanie.
mouth breathers is writing Beanie?
Whoever thinks Feeney's name is Beanie and is working on this
Look
show,
at the goddamn
get
wall.
ready for it. You call him Beanie, I call you Jerk. That's outrageous. Tim, you got another one for us?
Well, I must say I do hate the beanie caps, but I call them toboggans, so that doesn't even matter.
No, yeah. You know
Tim,
what? We should have gone out
Should
on a
have quit
high
when
note.
you were ahead, Tim. But what a great call that is.
Yes, Tim,
Our
nicely
first
done,
call.
sir. Yeah, there it is, the jerk hotline for you.
I love it.
Love getting calls. Hey, Tim, thanks for dropping us
Does he
a
get a
line, man.
T-shirt for that?
No, he doesn't get a T-shirt.
Oh, we don't have
for that.
T-shirts.
I
All
mean,
right. I'm hanging up the phone now. Can I do
Give
that?
me your hat. Sling blade. All right. You know what?
Sling blade.
That's what people say
That
you
kills
look like.
me.
That's what people say you look like.
I got a fan in Oklahoma who's 25 years old named Tim who loves me, even though he calls me Beanie.
You're the best, Beanie.
Beanie.
He didn't call you Beanie. Whoever wrote that up on the screen called you Beanie.
Who did it?
No, he called you Beanie. That's why we put it up that way.
Thank you, Jacuzzi Pete.
Oh, is that right? He loves Beanie.
I love Beanie.
All right, listen, it's getting salty in here. Let's add a little sugar to the proceedings. Let's hand out some Get Out of Jerk free cards. Now, here's what we do with the Get Out of Jerk free card. They work very much like the Get Out of Jail free card does in Monopoly.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in any future jerky behavior, you play this card. You and me is square. You see? So first up this week, I got to give it to my new brother-in-law, Eddie. He gets the Get Out of Jerk free card again.
Is he watching today?
I think he's in Hawaii after eloping with my sister, doing unmentionable things to her 6-month pregnant body.
No, they're not making love with each other when she's pregnant.
I don't know. John Edwards was making sex on his little mistress, right?
Hold on. Can you do the math for me real quick? They got married today, but she's 6 months pregnant.
Right.
What happened? Some premarital stuff?
I don't know. Maybe they went to the sea. I don't know.
I don't believe it.
I
How do
don't know
you
that.
feel? Why is he
I
getting?
think we know what happened.
Why
don't
is he
we?
getting a get out of jerk free card when he clearly had sex on your sister before marriage?
Oh, listen, that's something to worry about when you're 15 years of age. At this age, at my advanced age, she's just a year younger than I am. I am thrilled to have Eddie. Really, and any man, really, it could have been a woman. I don't really care. I'm just thrilled because we were getting to that point. I can say it now. We were getting to that point where Debbie was going to turn into creepy Aunt Debbie who lives in the spare bedroom as we get into our 40s and 50s and beyond. And she's sort of like, you know, then the grandkids, you know, 40 years from now are like, so who is Debbie? Whose grandmommy is she? You know, who's grandma? No, she's not anybody's grandmommy. she's crazy Aunt Debbie who just is always sort of around. But
Aunt Debbie wants soup again. I don't believe it. Remember you tried to fix me up with your sister once?
I didn't try to fix you up.
That was a horrible night.
We went,
the four of us went out. Me,
went
Deb,
to Bergen's, one of our favorite drinking holes.
You
really
and your wife. We
drunk.
hung out, and it was really awkward. It was really awkward.
Well, you and I really threw on.
I was
tremendous
overserved.
drunk.
I was legless getting out of that bar, but the problem is your sister had just been dumped or had just broken up with somebody that like a couple days before, and she was there. And she was not having it.
She was
really
in a bad
upset.
mood. You and I weren't properly sort of sensitive to her
Probably
sorrow.
you were digging her like, let's go. Hey, what do you want to drink, old maid? You were saying stuff like that. You were getting at it. She's like, oh my God, I just broke up with the love of my life.
By doing stuff like, you know, the barkeep would come over and we'd say another lap, barkeep.
Right. One more lap. That's right.
Yeah, like
your
Draper,
poor sister.
Like Don Draper. So anyway,
Pete Campbell.
Eddie, thank goodness, welcome to the family. You get a get out of jerk free card for the reasons I just explained. Now, here's another one though. Speaking of, while we're on the subject of sex, Tiger Woods. Obviously, a lot of people up on Mount Pius since around Thanksgiving about this. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Society has broken it down ad nauseum. But no one is really giving Tiger Woods the get out of jerk free card, except for guys like Rick Riley, who's obvious apparently their only goal is to stay in good standing with Tiger.
He is up Tiger's talkist big time.
He really
is.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Rick Riley has no dignity. That's not why I think Tiger deserves.
Let's get him on the show.
Free card. Instead, I think he has set the bar now so high that all men owe him a debt of gratitude. He has set the bar so ridiculously high. Every time he left his house, apparently, over the last 3 or 4 years, his wang fell into a woman.
He was inside a woman,
right.
yeah.
I mean, every
and
single
allegedly
time.
a man.
It is, is that right? No.
Those are those stories. Read those stories.
I haven't heard
allegedly.
Those. Now, either way, he's, again, now, the standard is something that you could never meet. You could say, this is what I'm going to do, and you could never put up the kind of numbers Tiger has. In other words, the bar is set so high, no matter what misdeeds you fall into, that we fall into, we always have the fallback, well, honey, you know what? At least I didn't do what Tiger did. You see, Tiger set a standard that none of us could ever live up or down to, however you want to say. And for that, Tiger, I want to say thank you with a little something called the Get Out of Jerk Free card.
For the first time ever in the history of the jerk list, I'm going to be contentious here because I think that's ridiculous. The fact that Tiger has set the bar so high, I would say he set it so low for everybody. But for crying out loud.
Oh, wait a second. Do you need a shuttle bus up to Mount Pius?
I'm going to say this right. You know what? If you want to shoot me down, go ahead. If you want her to shoot you down,
all
by
right,
all means.
Jerk!
And now,
the whole idea is that, you know what? Fine. If you want to put up Tiger Woods' numbers, then start bringing home $2 billion. Bring home $1 billion, and you can do whatever you want.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, that leads me nicely in.
Hey, but hey, I didn't bang. I didn't put my wang into so many women. Yeah, well, you didn't make $1 billion either.
Yeah.
I know you're close, but you're not making $1 billion.
Interesting point, but you know what? I can't unfire that blaster.
I still got hit.
So let's just do this and get back to the jerks here.
Go ahead.
And that brings us to the big story of the last week or two, and that's poor Sandy Bullock. And
I thought you were going to say healthcare reform, no? I guess not.
What are you talking about? I haven't heard anything about healthcare. What? So, listen, the Sandy Bullock, and listen, it is a terrible story. That, I mean, to have her the big moment of her life, ruined now a day or two after the fact by the revelations of Jesse James. Now, two things about it. First, and the jerk in this equation, I'm not going to put it on Jesse James, although his behavior is indefensible, but I'm talking again about the pious media. Oh, the chance to go up onto Mount Pius and reside there and look down at all us mortals here on Earth is that they love to do it. And now the Jesse James thing is, well, look at him. He has tattoos. You know, look at that, how that guy looks. Oh yeah, well that explains it then. I guess he has tattoos. I guess that's why Martin Luther King and Thomas Jefferson and JFK and every athlete, they all Tomcat because of the tattoos. That's Lincoln. The key to it. Crazy rationalization is, well, look at him. You could just tell by looking at him that he was a bad guy. She, you know, this implied sort of, I guess she should have seen this coming is ridiculous. That's the weird one. Ugh. But even weirder than that one is the female rationalizations. This thing about that, you know what, Jesse James, he's yet another guy. Sandra Bullock more successful than him. She's a powerful woman. Some guys just can't. They're too sensitive. They can't handle that. They can't handle a strong woman. Really? Does that explain Tiger Woods too? Is that the reason Tiger Woods was having affairs? And JFK, like you say, and Steve Phillips, and everyone else who's gotten caught. Steve McNair, the late great Steve McNair. By the way, ladies, if that's a lesson to you, then if that's not a lesson to you, then nothing ever will be. Because he didn't feel the sting of the Han Solo Edition blaster. He felt the sting of a revolver, and it took his life.
Of a Dillinger pistol.
Did you hear about men stopping cheating after that?
Oh.
No, you didn't. If that doesn't dissuade fellas like, hey, we better get, is number 7 Roethlisberger not still doing what he's doing, even though he's a quarterback in the NFL, just like Steve
He ain't
McNair?
married, though. See, he ain't married. 7. 7's not married. It's that marriage thing is a gigantic
Fair
deal.
point. A fair point. But it doesn't curb the behavior.
Of course. Oh, no, of course not.
You know, the Oprah
But the fact that that's
Winfrey
new
and
is
Dr.
ridiculous.
Phil, this idea that this hand-wringing, the billion-dollar industry of writing books on this subject, that, you know, like, why do men cheat? How can we stop them kind of thing? These powerful men, rich and successful men. How about this? You can't. That's the answer. If you've learned anything over the last several decades, then that should be your takeaway message. If you decide to marry a rich and powerful man, there's a good chance that other women are going to find him attractive, and he's going to bed down.
And there's a flip side of that coin. If you're a celebrity, you better get your affairs in order right now. You better clean up anything that's going on, because it will be found, because this is a big business. Back in the day, even like 30 years ago, if you were the other woman, if you were the other guy, whatever, the only money you could probably make off it is blackmail, extortion. Now, this is gigantic business. You hire Gloria Allred, and all of a sudden you got a picture deal, you got a book deal, you got pictures. I've seen, what's the name of that girl? Bombshell McGee, whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah.
I've seen her every day on TV the last 3 weeks.
I thought that somebody was joking when they said Bombshell
Michelle
McGee.
Bombshell
That's what she calls
McGee. And she's white power, but you see her everywhere. She is now one of the more famous people in America because of this thing. You better get your affairs in order, celebrities, because this is going to cost you a lot of money.
Everybody loves, you know, everybody's coming down on her pretty good. Obviously, if she has Nazi tattoos, then she's a reprehensible person.
A swastika on your breast? Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, what did I just say?
Absolutely.
To you? Did I just say that it's reprehensible?
I'm on your side, brother.
Yes, but I will say, if you could strip her of the tattoo, she would be a fox.
Not at all. Because
no,
there were pictures I saw the other day of her at her wedding
nice
when
looking.
she wasn't completely tatted
She
up.
has a sweet face.
And she didn't look good at all. Oh no, that's not for me. You
Right.
like that kind of. I don't.
But that's
that
like
thing.
a woman thing that they find Hitler attractive. You know.
I've never met
a.
Who says that?
I just said it's the equivalent of that. I didn't say
the woman who's working the blaster. Do you find Hitler attractive? Ever see a picture of Adolf Hitler?
Said that that's the case. That would be weird though. Somebody if a woman
she had
ever
chimed in,
voiced
yes,
that.
and she goes, yeah, actually, you know what? Without the mustache, she's kind of
I'm a
cute.
Jew. I'm not allowed to say shit like that. Hell no.
He's got.
Oh, an S-bomb on our show.
So be it. So be it. There are no rules.
We're clean, girl.
Uncensored.
Thank you, Katie. Now we get the explicit tag again.
All right. Well, listen. So
this ain't AccuScore. You work clean on my show.
The media that resides up on Mount Pius, so that they can look down upon the human beings in the world. Jerks. All right, and that brings us to, at long last, the creep of the week. Creep of the week, He or she is the creep of the week. I did that, like recording artist.
I love that. The one thing like that, I think that was great. I saw the touch and I thought it was magnificent.
Thank you.
Good for you.
I appreciate you.
But you look better without the cans on. You look better without.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Feeney, no cans today.
All right, listen. I didn't say no cans today.
No cans today.
All right, listen.
I'm
to
not
what I have
lying.
to say. Now, the Pius media could have been up there. Jesse James could have been the creep of the week. All those, all the people we've already heard could have been the creep of the week. But no, they got trumped at the 11th hour. On Friday past, a little podcast went up. You may have heard of it. It's called the Adam Carolla Podcast.
Sure.
It airs on AdamCarolla.com. Now, there was a guy in there named Dan Dratch who paid a visit to the podcast.
Your old friend, Dratch.
Right, that's right. Yeah, worked on the Man Show together, worked on some other things, you know, been chums for a decade or so. Talented guy, Adam Carolla, talented guy. Now, they've been reduced to this title, former friends.
What? Oh, my God, what
Former
happened?
friends. Well, they got together, and they got all caught up and cracking each other up about this and that, the old Man Show days, and in particular, they turned their gaze to someone named Dave Damashek. and a little sport called Connect Four, which, as you may or may not know, I have won not one, not two, but 3 Connect Four world titles. Back in the mid-'90s, I claimed 1, 2, and 3.
Where'd you play them? In Chicago?
In Chicago.
How are they world titles then?
Because I claimed the world titles.
Okay.
So listen. So I won my first one, the first ever Connect Four championship.
Sure.
I won the crown. Now you think that's great. Now you can't take that away. I won the first one. You know, so that for all of time, I am the inaugural winner.
Right.
The second
Terrific.
year, come back, claim a second one. All of a sudden, a new standard has been set. It's not enough to just win a title.
2 in a
now,
row.
To live up to Damashek, you got to get 2. Then I come back a third year. I didn't know if I had what it took emotionally to dig in. I mean, it's physically exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting.
Oh, sure.
To go all the way through the round-robin tournament, best of 7, to claim a Connect Four crown. But somehow, some way, I did it. I'm called in Connect Four circles. I have some friends, my peer group and worthy adversaries. They were my friend Pratt. He's the Cobra in Connect Four because his style of play is marked by the quick strike ability. You know, the game begins, and before you know it, he's sunk his fangs, and the venom is all in you, and the game's over before you know what hit you.
Sure.
Then my chum Dimmitt, he's the opposite. He was known as the surgeon because he would anesthetize you. In the game, he would drag it out. And you didn't know, all of a sudden you think you're in good shape and you're a little loopy, and the whole game, he would methodically pick you apart. And when there were only 2 or 3 moves left on the entire Connect Four board, that's when he would drop the hammer. That's when he would take care of business.
Okay.
So
what was your nickname?
There are different styles of play. Damashek, the Mariner. Why? The old man of the sea.
Again, the sea comes back.
There's nothing new under the sun to show me. I know it all. However you want to play it, that's how I'll go at it, buddy, because I'm gonna play your game and beat you at it. That's the Mariners way.
Backstory real quick. This is you in your 20s in Chicago.
That's right.
What's the pool of players? Just the 3 of you?
No, there were about a dozen players.
Okay,
involved.
so a lot of people in their 20s, so they're out having fun, they're drinking, they're starting their career, they're scoring with women. You're playing a Parker
There was
Brothers
no
game.
rule against booze or narcotics, but if you want to muddy your brain with that when you're playing
Absolutely.
When you're playing a thinking man's game like Connect Four,
like Doc Ellis throwing the no-hitter
it.
on LSD. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Go ahead and do it, but yeah, I think that your play is going to suffer for it. So good luck.
No matter
going
what,
up against the Mariner.
Point taken. It was a very cool group and a very cool activity.
I won 3. After digging deep, I was so fatigued by the experience. It was right there that I declared, you know what? I have nothing left to achieve in this sport. Because 3 straight crowns. I mean, I've now joined the pantheon of all-time great sportsmen. You know, there's I have nothing left to prove. No mountain left to scale. Count me out.
Michael Jordan,
I'm
Babe
going to retire.
Dietrichson.
I said, and I'm not going to be a Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm not going to be an Ali. I'm not going to be one of these guys who comes out of retirement. I'm not going to be a joke like that. I'm not going to be a doddering old man playing competitive Connect Four. So I had decided then I'll play 4, but only for pleasure's sake. I'll play recreational 4, and that's it. And it's a hard and fast rule for me. Now, jump ahead several years later to the Man Show. I am very proud as anything I've ever done before or since, including my children, of my 3 Connect Four titles, which are represented on a shelf high in my home by gourds.
In that ridiculous trophy room that I've gone on and on about for years, the room that celebrates all things Damashek in your house.
That's right. So listen.
3 times the size of his kids' rooms.
I have 3 gourds. I think I just explained that I'm deserving, if anyone is, of a trophy.
And an autographed picture of himself signed to himself. They're giving us a wrap it up sign, so let's get going.
All right. So anyway, that's all. So I retired, and now at the Man Show, in whatever this was, 2001, 2002-ish kind of era, I make everyone aware of my Connect Four crowns. I was proud of them, and one day, cousin Sal or someone like that brings in a Connect Four board. I was delighted to see it. Maybe I even brought it in. I don't know. I bring it in to play some recreational 4. Now, they're talented players. Some people have the gift. I've always said about Connect Four, from your first game, I can see if you have the gift or not. You may have never played the game, but either you have the touch or you don't. You can get a little bit better, but really, You either got it or you don't.
It's like having the Force in like
so
the
we
Star
break
Wars
it
world.
out. John Kimmel was a player of some repute, apparently, in his teen years. He says, we sit down to play. Sure enough, he was a strong player. He could beat me in Connect 4. Cousin Sal was good. He could beat me at Connect 4. Now, a lot of the guys we made quick work of, but those were really the noteworthy guys in the Man Show writers' offices. So we would play some Connect 4, but there's a give and take to Connect 4. It's more like baseball than it is NBA basketball in the sense that you don't, if somebody is good, you're going to split games. You want to win 4 out of 7. You're not going to win 4 in a row over worthy adversaries. That's the way it goes.
Fine.
I talked to John Kimmel about it yesterday. He said, you ultimately won a lot more games against me than I did against you. Sal concedes the same thing. But early on, maybe they had their way with me a little bit. But, that's all there is.
You were out of practice.
I was playing recreational 4, by the way.
It was almost a decade since you've been active.
So that's all the lead up. Now, can we hear what the hilarious banter between Adam Carolla and Dan Dratch? Let's hear what they had to say.
It is funny. I guess it's what you'd expect. You're doing a show called The Man Show, and you hired a bunch of jack-off buddies to write comedy jokes, but eventually they would get bored, and they would do Connect 4 tournaments right upstairs. It was always funny because Dave Damashek...
Competitive 4. He was always touting...
I was not mimicking my voice.
Let's get to
it. Dave Damashek, for 2 seasons of The Man Show, announced that he was so good at Connect 4 that he had to retire from competition.
Right.
That he would only do exhibitions now. First nightmare came true, which is I think
John Kimmel. He was excellent at it.
Jimmy's brother brought in a Connect 4 and said, you know what? As long as we're not going to work, let's have a Connect 4 tournament. And it was like a guy talking about juggling or speaking French for years. Like, oh, I lived in Nice and I lived abroad, and you couldn't separate my dialect from the locals, and that's all. I didn't even speak English for a number of years, and then you find out eventually he doesn't speak a lick of it.
Right.
Fucking Damashek showed up, and they started having Connect 4 tournaments, and I think John Kimmel, who hadn't played since he was in junior high, was beating him like 7 out of 10 times.
It takes, you gotta be good at math, I think. That's...
Not only was he getting beat by John Kimmel, though, you were beating him, and Cousin Sal was beating him. Everyone was beating Damashek at Connect 4. And he was explaining he only played tournaments now, exhibition tournaments and things like that. But really, his Connect 4 batting average was not very good, was
it? No.
I mean, not for a guy who did nothing but talk about Connect 4. I'd never played Connect 4.
Yeah, he was okay. He was all right at it.
It was all right, but he was no Gary Kasparov, right?
No.
That's why all you've proven with that conversation is that neither one of you has the first notion about what it takes to be a Connect 4 champion. Dratch, he was all right. Yeah, you were lousy. You were in the remedial class for Connect 4. No way, you were in the JV tournament. I didn't play in the tournament. Why? Because I retired. And like I just said, I'm not going to be an Ali. I'm not coming out of retirement and making a joke out of myself. I honor my commitment, even a retirement commitment. So I didn't play Connect 4. And Carolla, you would be down in the JV along with Dratch if you ever tried a game of a thinking man like that. Go throw your fists around into somebody else's head and take a couple right back at you. That's your level of sport. Connect 4, though, like you say, this is the sport where I thrive. I have no shame in my retirement. I'll tell you what it does do. It makes me want to come out of retirement.
I think that's the greatest idea.
I won't do it.
Come out of it.
I'm tempted to do it, but that's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want me to do.
One last game. Winner takes all.
I think we should get...
No, I don't need you helping the Wheeze.
John Kimmel. The Wheeze coming on. John Kimmel, you, 1 tournament. Or you, Adam Carolla, 1 game.
Oh, well.
1 game
that would be... You know what? I would take him down. It would be recreational.
Let's set up a round robin again. Let's do it right now. Let's set it up. You.
How dare they you know what?
Our own March Madness.
You know what? It's not just, you're not just assaulting me when you do that. You assault the sport of Connect 4. Nay, you assault all sport.
Would you be willing to put the gourds on the line? Winner gets the gourds.
They're my gourds.
They
What
can,
do you mean?
they can be taken away, though. Not unlike the belt.
They were
heavyweight
awarded
belt.
for my
It went
crowns
from
and-
Creed to Balboa. You can get it again. Get that. Put up those gourds.
Listen, what did I just tell you? I retired. It is so draining.
One game only.
You know how they say NFL players have a shorter lifespan? You know, the numbers indicate that. I got to think, I don't know if there's enough research out there, if there are enough stats to look into this, but I got to think if you're a competitive 4 player and you've been through the rigors of more than 1 or 2 tournaments, that I got to think that my shelf life has been knocked down by 20, 30 years.
Didn't you hear the obituary?
Yeah.
You're gone at 59, my friend. 2023.
All right. So yeah, but right, maybe that is accurate. Maybe they factored that into their formula of when I'm checking out. Anyway, the bottom line is we're still talking about the creep of the week. And so, in summation, let me say this. Adam Carolla, Dan Dratch, friends? No. Former friends? Yes. Creeps of the week? You betcha! That's it. I'm done.
The Jerk List with Dave Damashek reporting. Until next time, don't be a jerk.
I hope you're proud of yourself. Are you proud of yourself? This is
Proud of myself.
This is your legacy. Connect Four.
No, but you know what I am. You know what that does. You know what that creep of the week makes me feel more than anything.
What?
Sad. It makes me
Sad
sad.
why?
It makes me sad that I had to lose a couple of friends.
People
That
can be so
they were more
misguided.
interested in having this delightful little back and forth that wasn't rooted in any fact.
Fellas, I have to tell you, we're pretty excited in here. Donnie and I are already looking for a suitable venue.
Good
for
luck.
A live
I
match.
hope you find one. Make it the Dave Damashek
What a great
Memorial.
idea. Throw me some ideas.
The Dave Damashek Competitive 4 Memorial Tournament, you can call it. Just call
LA
it whatever you want.
Coliseum, Staples Center.
Yeah,
Do we
Hollywood
sell
Bowl,
tickets? 10,000?
I love it.
All right. Now, speaking of a tournament, real quick, because I was going to get to it on the jerk list. The tournament, I should have really mentioned this actually, but real quick because we've been on for way too long. I just want to say, because we haven't acknowledged the tournament at all here, Feeney, and your Q's team is out, my pit team is out. What are you doing?
My mic is out. My mic is going. I got no.
His microphone is out?
My microphone died. What happened to Beanie's microphone?
That's fine. Beanie doesn't need to be heard. All I need is to be heard.
I just gotta get close to you while we finish this thing.
All right, now listen to what I have to tell you. Tell me what you think of this. I just would like to say this about the tournament. I'm not even sad that Pitt lost. I can't really feel any real sorrow over Pitt being out because, as I've said many times before, March Madness, a lot of fun. It's a real hoot filling out those brackets every year. It's fun doing it in the office, and it's hilarious that the secretary who doesn't watch a lick of basketball wins every year. But that's the point. It's for casual fans, people who don't even really care about sports. It's fun to watch games. That Xavier Kansas State game on Thursday night was an all-timer. What a dandy. Did
That
you
was
watch
terrific.
that game?
Yeah, I watched part of it.
What a ball game. I mean, the last 10 minutes of regulation and then the overtimes. Really all-time great stuff. Gus Johnson is lucky that Clemente from K-State didn't hit that jumper at the buzzer to win it because on the heels of Jordan Crawford hitting that 35-foot three just before, that would have been enough. That would have been the end of Gus Johnson. He would have literally, I think, dropped dead on the spot there. He wouldn't have come back from that. But either way, what a ball game. And the games standing alone in a vacuum are a lot of fun to watch. But what does this tournament amount to? Am I supposed to be sad that Pitt wasted 4 months of their lives earning a 3 seed? Hey, Kansas lost to Northern Iowa, some crumb bum team out of the middle of nowhere who had a hot hand shooter, and now 4 months of basketball completely invalidated for this juggernaut team that lost 2 games all season long. The point is, it's fun to watch, but it is by far, it is far from a gauge of who the best team in college basketball is. Everybody gets so upset about college football, but at least you can make a case that at the very worst, one of the 2 teams playing in the BCS title game, at least one of those teams is the best team. And maybe you say, oh, that third team should have been playing them, not that team. But either way, you're closer to actually a real championship of worthy candidates for the title. This tournament, it just is not a reflection.
Does it make it any less exciting?
My point isn't what's the most exciting. Is what is the true test of.
These are just sour grapes because Pitt or Indiana.
It has nothing to do with
goddamn tournament.
It's not.
No, it's
all that matters. I'll say it now that we're at roughly the midway point. Kentucky's going to win it. Why? Because my theory goes like this: 20 years ago, and you still hear Digger Phelps on ESPN throwing this sort of stuff around, that the keys to winning in tournament are great guard play, senior leadership, having guys that have been around each other for 3 or 4 years, good coaching, good X's and O's. No, none of that matters at all. All that matters now in this day and age with these kids that come in for 1 year, hired guns, and then go on to the NBA, with the way it's structured now, the only thing that matters is talent. Who has the most good players on their team? That's who's going to win. Look at the last decade. Who's won the national championships? Carolina, Florida. Why? Because they have the most talent. It has nothing to do with anything else. Syracuse with
Melo.
Maybe the single greatest freshman season ever, rivaled only maybe by Kenny Anderson's freshman season. He
was great, but they went to the Final Four. That's
right.
Championship game.
But Carmelo, you get your crown for that. All that matters is talent. Thus ends the editorial on the tournament. But
your point, just to sum up really quickly, the teams with the best players make the best teams.
I know that sounds like, well, that's obvious, but that's not always true.
No. I think that's a great observation.
Coach Knight 20 years ago didn't have the best talent, but they'd make runs at the title because of the coaching, because it was about bringing in a class of kids, bringing them along for 3 or 4 years so that they would peak as upperclassmen. Now that has nothing to do with anything.
How do you get kicked? He slapped a player, right? Is that what happened? He choked a player? What happened?
Let's not go down that path. That's a good story.
He's a hero of yours, though, right?
That's right.
You met the guy.
Look what's happened to that program since he left. They had to get rid of him. He was embarrassing the program. Embarrassing the university. We got to get rid of him. Well, now look at him. How has the program ever been more humiliated by Kelvin Sampson coming in and cheating and everything else, and the shambles they can't even get into the NIT?
Tease that story for next week. For the next time we come on, tease the
I'll
nice
tell you,
story.
right. Next week is Easter, so we may or may not do a show. You're going to have to be on the lookout for that. I don't know if we'll be able to fit it in during the week, but you're going back.
You break this show up into 2 parts since we've gone.
This was just live. What are you talking about? There was a live.
You're going to post it. We'll take a couple shares too. We'll cut out this whole NCAA thing you just talked about.
Just sit there and look pretty. Why don't you? All right, we don't need your help with how
play
we're
the song.
handle the thing. All right, yes, hit the Yub Yub song. This is the song that, of course, ends the saga, the rebellion versus the Empire. The Empire has been defeated. The Ewoks gather with Skywalker and Solo and Leia and Chewbacca.
A song so important they took it off the remix.
I know. One of the weirdest decisions. I'd love to hear Lucas's explanation for why.
It's a silly song.
Let's get Lucas on the
mini
next
Wookiees
podcast.
saving the universe. It's kind of silly.
Yeah. No, it's not. This is a wonderful song. It's a joyous
Playing the
song.
Stormtrooper helmets like bongos?
That's right.
C-3PO is a god? That movie was terrible. It was a cesspool.
Don't you dare start with that. You know what?
It peaks with empty. Don't do it. Don't put me on the list. Not twice.
Are you actually saying that you think Return of the Jedi?
I don't like Return of the Jedi at all. It begins as Empire Strikes Back. I like Jabba the Hutt at the beginning.
Empire Strikes Back is great. All right, we'll pick that movie apart. That's something to look forward to. But the Ewoks for now. Can't you be happy? How can you have any bad words to say about anything when you hear
I'll be
this
happy
song?
when I
It's
put
such a
food in
happy-
my stomach. I gotta go.
I need some
Starve.
of that too. All right, so listen. Thanks to everybody for joining us on the video cast.
Video.
Thanks for checking it out.
Thanks to Tim from Oklahoma for calling.
Right.
That was great.
Our first ever jerk
caller.
hotline. Also, we check us out, Damashek on Twitter and AdamCarolla.com. Go there. You already figured
Don't
that
plug
out. You're
him.
watching it.
For the Connect 4
I'm
thing?
not plugging us. That's the website we're on.
You're going to get tackled in 5 seconds. 5,
Anyway,
4,
all right. So
3,
I'm trying to think. So we got
2,
may or may not do a show.
1.
Look for that. Don't do
0.
your countdown. Get off me, you creep. What a creep. Feel like a man. Disgusting. All right, listen. Thanks so much for joining us, podcasters. It's been a thin slice of heaven.